Greenville had a 4-lane bridge downtown, a real one. Cars on it every single day. And this city tore it down on purpose so that people could see a waterfall. What kind of city does that? Let's find out. So I've been trying to figure this place out for a while, and I'm convinced that one decision explains the entire city. So today I'm writing all of it. Park to downtown to the far side of town, one continuous path. And I'm going to show you every single place Greenville made the harder choice on purpose. Okay, so here's the bridge story. The falls are just down there, and for decades, the best view of the prettiest thing this city owns was underneath a 4-lane road. That's what was there, traffic on a concrete deck directly over a waterfall. And in 2002, they took it out. They demolished a functioning road in the middle of downtown so people on foot could stand in front of some water. Falls Park opened 2 years after that, and every patio, every apartment, every person you're looking at right now grew up around that one decision. Look, every town has a greenway now. Everybody's got a paved loop behind a shopping center. This is not that. This thing starts in a completely different town, runs directly through the middle of downtown Greenville, and then keeps going. You can get on it in the woods and get off of it at a coffee shop. That's a fundamentally different idea about what a trail is for, and you feel it 90 seconds in. Bike share right on the trail, a bike crossing with its own signal, restaurant patios that face the water instead of a parking lot. And none of these are big dramatic gestures. They're 100 tiny decisions all pointing the same direction. You feel it instantly when you leave. Go ride somewhere else and the bike lane just stops, ends at a curb mid-block like it gave up on you. Here it keeps going, and it actually takes you somewhere. That's the difference between a city that tolerates bikes and one that planned for them. And now we come to Unity Park. In 1925, the city opened Mayberry Park right here. 15 acres bought specifically because black kids in Greenville had nowhere they were legally allowed to play. Then, in 1938, the city took half of it back to build a whites first baseball stadium. And black residents got in only on set days, seated down the third baseline with separate restrooms and separate concessions. Fast forward to 2022, Greenville spends $66 million on these exact 60 acres. And instead of burying that history, it built a whole park around it. The old ball field, the reedy wetlands, all of it restored. And they called it Unity, not to paper over what happened here, but because you can't move a place forward while pretending it started clean. And then there's the tower. You can see it from almost anywhere in this park. This twisting metal thing that looks like nothing else in South Carolina. I genuinely assumed it was a water tower the first time I saw it, but it's not. It's the Thomas and Vivian A. Wong Honor Tower, 125 feet tall with an observation deck at 99. There's a glass elevator, or you can take 176 steps. The tower is in honor of veterans and first responders. That's the whole purpose of it. And here's the part that got me. They didn't put it on some plaza downtown where you go visit it once. Here, families are walking past it. You have to go by it to get anywhere in the park, which makes it daily life, not a field trip. Up ahead is a 10-foot steel rabbit, just sitting in with the hydrangeas. And the story is so much better than you think. Somebody from the city walked through an art festival downtown, saw this thing and went, yeah, we're buying that. It's by the artist Dale Rogers. It won first place at Artist Fair, and now it lives on a bike trail, next to a flower bed, which is next to a warehouse. No committee commissioned it, nobody ran a study, somebody just liked it and made a phone call. And I think that's the entire personality of this town in one object. It's a place that flatly refuses to be a self-serious place. which, if you're keeping score, is a very hard balance for a city to get right. And most of them don't even try. And it keeps going. Power lines, chain link, kudzu doing kudzu things. This is the part most cities would have quietly cut. The scenic mile downtown gets built, everyone claps at the ribbon cutting, and the rest of the corridor just never happens. This one didn't stop. It runs past the storage yards and the fence lines because that's where people actually live. And a greenway that only serves the postcard neighborhood isn't a greenway, it's an amenity. This one goes all the way out to Travelers Rest, an entirely different town at the other end. That's the real test, honestly. Not whether a city builds the pretty mile, but whether it finishes the boring 12. start to leave Greenville and the San Souci neighborhood comes into view, the trail delivers you right here, the Swamp Rabbit Trail Cafe, one of many stores that grew up along a dead railroad line. Because this city bet that people would come, and they came. I started out asking what kind of place tears down a bridge so people can look at a waterfall, and it's this one. This is what that choice looks like from a bike seat, and that is the state of the trail.